Coming up next, a family who lost their son after hazing at Penn State pushes to make fraternities safer. Our exclusive interview with the Piazzas.
Yeah, we're not saying kill fraternities. We're saying let's make them better.
Plus, anger over the proposed closing of Rockview Prison.
I'm tired of it. I'm retired. I am afraid.
And the potential local impact of President Trump's auto tariffs. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon. I'm Hannah Newrohr.
And I'm Francie Ebert. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, the parents of the Penn State student who died after a hazing incident are speaking out on their efforts to spark positive change nationwide. Reporter Eric Morris traveled to Florida for an exclusive interview with Tim Piazza's parents.
Family photos bring back wonderful memories for Evelyn and Jim Piazza, including pictures of their two boys growing up in New Jersey. But not long after their son Tim went off to college at Penn State, it all came crashing down.
Once we got there and we met with the surgeons, I never in my wildest dreams ever thought that he was going to die.
19-year-old Tim Piazza died on February 4th, 2017 after an alcohol-fueled hazing incident at a campus fraternity house. The tragic story made national news. However, the Piazza family made a decision to try to turn that tragedy into something positive.
We felt an obligation. We had to do it because if we don't do it, who's going to do it?
Tim's brother Mike was also a Penn State student at the same time, and the first person to see Tim at the hospital.
When I tell Tim's story, I do it from Mike's perspective, through his eyes. And I have everybody close their eyes and imagine that this is happening to their brother.
Jim Piazza says the university's president at the time, Eric Barron, brought the idea of a research center with Tim's name to the Piazza family.
So I started with President Barron was denying culpability at one point. He came around and he made a real difference, in my opinion.
Born out of that idea, the Timothy J. Piazza Center for Fraternity and Sorority Research now emphasizes campus-based preventative strategies to fight hazing, dangerous drinking, and violence nationwide.
We're not saying kill fraternities. We're saying let's make them better.
But that's not an easy task on college campuses like Penn State.
You cycle students through every 4 years, so the learning process almost has to become a cultural change, and it takes a while to change a culture.
The Piazzas and their attorneys were key advocates in pushing Pennsylvania to pass what's considered to be the toughest hazing law in the United States.
We've come up with a model law that we've since shopped around to other states there's only 16 states right now that have felony hazing laws, and they've all been because there was a death first. So we're just trying to get states to protect their students.
Although the Piazza Center and the primary focus of their legislation efforts are based here at Penn State and in Pennsylvania, their impact is felt nationwide, like here at LSU. Dr. Kimberly Davis is based at LSU, and she serves as a data analyst for the Piazza Center.
Several of our campuses are in states that have pretty strict and robust hazing laws. And as a result of those, we heard from students that really more than any sort of institutional policy, the laws are what change their attitudes and behaviors.
44 of the 50 states now have an anti-hazing law. In New Jersey, it was the words of a young boy that made a difference.
One of Tim's best friends lived down the street from us, and his younger brother, as part of a Boy Scout project, wrote to a local state senator and said, we need to change the hazing law in New Jersey, and it was already a felony. He said, but we need to make it tougher because Tim was my friend too.
The Piazza's efforts have also been influential in new federal legislation that just took effect this year.
The fact that we were part of the Stop Campus Hazing Act that got passed on a federal level, I think that's huge.
Tim was an engineering major, and in addition to their anti-hazing work, the Piazza family began a foundation in Tim's name that holds a golf outing as a fundraiser to help achieve one of his goals.
We fund prosthetics, specialized prosthetics for kids. Tim really wanted to make prosthetics, and he wanted to help kids and veterans.
The family estimates they funded more than 200 kids for specialized prosthetics, including running blades or attachments to allow them to ride bikes.
That makes us happy because that is something that I think carries on Tim's legacy.
But no matter how much good the family does, nothing can make up for what they lost.
I would say it's satisfying. Of course, you're doing some good stuff, hopefully, and making a difference, but I mean, I'd rather have my son back.
As part of our Penn State student media coverage of this issue, the Daily Collegian newspaper has published a history of fraternity hazing at Penn State through collegian reporting over the years. You can find it at psucollegian.com. In a related story, 3 fraternities have unaffiliated from Penn State, creating a new Greek life organization called the State College Interfraternity Council. The frats say the decision is partially to move away from compliance policies, including the Piazza's agreement with the university, which focuses on Greek life reform. The Brick Ray fraternities are Tau Kappa Epsilon, Sigma Chi, and Pi Kappa Alpha.
Federal prosecutors will seek the death penalty against the man accused of killing United Healthcare's CEO. Police arrested Luigi Mangione in Altoona in December. He faces federal and state murder charges in the ambush killing of Brian Thompson outside a New York hotel. A state decision to close Rockview Prison in Bellefonte could have big impacts on the local economy and Center County families. Reporter Lauren Reel is in our studio with the story. Lauren? That's right, Hannah. Local businesses depend on the hundreds of prison employees and their families. But with the possible closure, many people are worried about the impact on the area.
I'm retired. I am afraid.
There's growing tension as people voice concern over the proposed closure of Rockview Prison near Bellefonte and the Guahana Boot Camp in Clearfield County. The proposed shutdowns are part of Governor Shapiro's budget proposal to save millions of dollars. But critics say closures would hurt the local economy.
I'm very distraught. Like I mentioned during the forum, I'm not from the area, I'm not from the region. I moved up here to work for Rockview. My wife is from the area, so we moved up here to start our life together, raise our child together here. And now this has thrown everything into whack.
At a public forum, State Representative Paul Takak voiced frustration over the plan and offered his support to the community.
I'm proud to stand with you today and know that many of my colleagues here in Harrisburg have and will continue to fight like hell for you and for your families and for all of your union brothers and sisters.
Rockview is the second oldest state prison in Pennsylvania. The state says over the next 5 years, it would need over $70 million in renovations. To understand the magnitude of these closures, it could displace over 650 employees. However, the Department of Corrections believes that it could save over $100 million in future fiscal years. But lawmakers say there are reasons to keep it open.
Rockview is the only facility in the state that has a cognitive unit for prisoners who have dementia. It's the only facility in the state that has 2 mental health units that are both highly regarded. And it's also the only facility in the state that has several of the job training programs.
Even some inmates are fighting back. They've sent lawmakers around 100 personal letters asking to finish out their sentences there. A final decision on the closures is expected later this year. A Department of Corrections hearing is set for April 15th at Bald Eagle High School. It's the only opportunity for residents to speak directly to Shapiro's administration.
Thanks, Lauren. There's a new ruling in Pennsylvania's long-running legal fight over mail-in ballots. A federal judge has ruled election boards in all 67 counties may not invalidate ballots simply because they lack accurate handwritten dates on the outside envelopes. The Republican National Committee says it'll appeal.
Penn State Hershey Medical Center has become the first hospital in Pennsylvania and the 23rd in the country to offer a new Parkinson's treatment. The ADBS treatment uses a system that continuously monitors brain activity and automatically adjusts simulation. Doctors say that can lead to improved symptom control and reduced side effects. And a medical team at Penn State just received a $2.7 million grant from the National Institutes of Health to develop the next generation of synthetic blood. Experts say the blood substitute will help, especially in rural or war-torn areas.
President Trump's newly announced tariffs on U.S. trading partners is drawing strong reaction worldwide. For the auto industry, the extra 25% tax on imported vehicles and auto parts went into effect yesterday. A Penn State global business expert says they'll lead to higher costs for automakers and car buyers.
If each of those transactions is going to face a tariff, that's going to raise the price of cars, and I've seen estimates from anywhere between $3,000 and $11,000 per new vehicle.
Trump says tariffs are designed to boost domestic manufacturing, but others say they could hurt the U.S. economy. The stock market dropped more than 1,500 points this morning after dropping more than 1,600 points yesterday.
It's been a roller coaster weather week. We check the weekend forecast coming up.
And in sports, a historical step for Penn State hockey. Also coming up, a week after this overseas disaster, a local church embraces its longtime connection to the people there. Find out what it's doing to help. A group of students at Penn State is continuing what it calls a week of rage to protest the war in Gaza. The group Students for Justice in Palestine held a rally at Old Main and other events. Israel has launched waves of airstrikes and ground operations since the recent ceasefire ended. Hamas ignited the war with its attack into Israel in 2023, which killed 1,200 people.
Rescue workers have found a few more survivors after the strong earthquake that rocked Myanmar a week ago today. It killed more than 3,000 people. A church in Bollesburg has a long connection to Myanmar and mission work there. Reporter Mackenzie Bruns is live at Calvary Harvest Fields. Mackenzie?
While this disaster happened thousands of miles away from Center County, it hits home for the people of Calvary Church. I got to talk with the lead pastor, where he tells me about the church's long history with helping the people in Myanmar.
But a lot of the kids who come to
For Pastor Dan Nold and his congregation, Myanmar isn't just a place in the headlines. Nold is one of many volunteers at Calvary Harvest Fields in Bollesburg who have gone on a mission trip there since 2006. He went every year until the pandemic hit.
Our desire when we went there was not to do our own thing, but to support leaders who were doing stuff there.
The Nold family and other church members have built lasting relationships with hundreds of children and church leaders in Myanmar. That made the recent 7.7 magnitude earthquake all the more devastating.
I've been to Mandalay and I've been to Inle Lake, and so you kind of have a sense of the people and what they're going through, and they've just been through a lot.
For Dan's son Jake, who has traveled there several times, it's the children he thinks about most.
The kids in Myanmar who have nothing are some of the most grateful, happy, joyful people that you will ever meet. And so it's really a joy getting to spend time with them. We often walk away from it feeling like they blessed us more than we were able to bless them.
While the orphanage and schools the church works with were spared from the worst of the damage, the Nolds are concerned about the aftermath in a country already struggling with poverty and political unrest.
Their message is kind of the same. We want to serve the people of our country, and if there's anything you can do to help us serve the people of our country, we're going to do what we can regardless, but if you can help us do that, that's what we would love to do right now.
Through their church's 1% offering and child sponsorship program, they're already organizing support for earthquake victims. Pastor Noel tells me that they've been in daily communication with the churches there, but he also says that the earthquakes could have long-lasting impacts across the nation. Live in Bollesburg, I'm Mackenzie Bruns for the Center County Report.
Conditions are calm right now in Happy Valley, but changes are coming this weekend, including the risk for showers, thunderstorms, and even a return of winter. So looking at our camera right now, we have flowing traffic, some trees blooming from the warmth earlier this week, sitting at a temperature of 57, so quite mild for this time of year. Dew point in the mid-40s as well, so it's a little bit dry, but not too bad. Taking a look at temperatures across the state, more north you go, a little bit colder with temperatures sitting in those upper 40s to low 50s, but heading farther south and east, down to Harrisburg and Philly, temperatures already climbing into those mid to upper 60s. Radar and satellite, not much precipitation going on right now. You won't really see much today in general, but we'll see more of that as this low pressure system begins to strengthen across the central U.S., moving northeastward into our area, bringing those showers and thunderstorms by tomorrow morning. But before that, we do have a severe weather outbreak potentially across portions of Arkansas, Missouri, and northeast Texas. This is their expected second tornado outbreak this week. These same areas were impacted just on Wednesday, 2 days ago. So if you have any family members in this area, especially across much of Arkansas, keep them alert of this potential tornado outbreak later today. We won't be seeing those severe storms here locally, but temperatures will be warming up this afternoon, getting into those low 60s. Our average high for this time of year is 54, so about 10 degrees above average. For those heading to the first Friday here in State College tonight, won't be dodging rain showers, but it'll be pretty mild, so it'll be a great first Friday here in State College. Timing out that future radar, again, just some clouds and breaks in those clouds this evening, but those showers could make into the area by around 10 to 11, but just some sprinkles, and we really won't see that rain move in until tomorrow. So tonight, again, a low 48, just a few isolated showers. You won't really be bringing those rain umbrellas just yet. You'll need those for tomorrow. Timing out tomorrow, we'll see rounds of showers and storms beginning to move into the area by 8 a.m. and those will continue as we progress throughout the day. Kind of that on and off type flow. Could even see some breaks in those clouds before another round moves into the overnight hours. So tomorrow you'll want to have that raincoat and umbrella handy, but it won't be a total washout. So for tomorrow, a high of 59 is expected with numerous showers and a few thunderstorms. In terms of precipitation amounts, we'll see between 1 to 2 inches, which is beneficial coming out of a pretty dry winter. As we plot it out for the rest of the weekend, temperatures will be dropping into Sunday as a cold front crosses the region. A few morning showers. But early next week, that is when we'll see a taste of winter return, with highs on Tuesday only making it to the upper 30s with some snow showers expected.
Snow showers? Oh, that shouldn't be anywhere near April, but April showers do bring those May flowers. So
I sure am ready for some warm weather. I'm going to have to pull out my rain boots for tonight's festivities downtown.
Yes, First Fridays are back in State College with art, music, and entertainment. The monthly event kicks off downtown today at 5, giving people after-hour access to galleries, shops, along with live performances and special deals at restaurants. Now to Owen with sports.
The hype is building for Penn State's first ever appearance in the Frozen Four hockey tournament. That's next. And we look at what's been a year of winning for the Nittany Lions, from national championships to other sports success. I'm Owen Gelber with sports. Penn State hockey is now getting ready for its first ever appearance in the Frozen Four next week in St. Louis. The Nittany Lions survived overtime in the regional final thanks to this Matt DeMarsico snipe off a sick behind-the-back feed from freshman Charlie Serrato. Penn State took down Maine and UConn in the Allentown bracket and moves on to face Boston University next week. Coach Guy Godowski says the team embraced the underdog role.
And I don't think anybody gave us a chance, but the guys believed in the locker room and they did a great job. And when we got to the regional, the support from the Penn Staters was just incredible. The atmosphere was awesome. Our student section, who is such a big part of what we do, was there in full force and was a really big part of the wins that we had.
And spring practice rolls on for the football team as players try to work their way up the depth chart. Some new faces are joining the returning players and staff as the team works through drills at the Lash Complex. Coach James Franklin also said this week that he's impressed with new defensive coordinator Jim Knowles and his coaching style. Spring practice wraps up with the blue and white game scheduled on April 26th. It's been quite the year for Penn State athletics under athletic director Pat Kraft. From national championships to deep postseason runs, and the story of volleyball coach Katie Schumacher-Cawley, who led her team to a title while fighting cancer. The 2024-2025 academic year has been one to remember for Penn State athletics.
As of last week, we had 10 teams ranked to the top 25.
Penn State women's volleyball started the national championship trend for the Nittany Lions, taking down Louisville in their home city after upsetting Nebraska in the semifinals. Over on the mat, Penn State wrestling took care of business, securing their 4th straight national championship and 12th total under head coach Cale Sanderson. Graduate student athlete Carter Starachi set an NCAA record with his 5th consecutive individual national championship. On the gridiron, the Penn State football team made a deep playoff run and appeared in the Big Ten championship game. The team dominated SMU inside Beaver Stadium in the first round of the college football playoffs, then defeated Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl before falling short to Notre Dame in the final moments of the Orange Bowl in Miami. Hockey has kept Penn State in national headlines, with the women's team winning their division, the AHA, and the men's team set to face off against Boston University next Thursday for their first ever Frozen Four appearance.
For them to keep belief in that locker room and then to help them grow as players, develop as players, and then for this team to come together and rally the way it did in the second half is the best coaching job I have ever seen.
Stay tuned for all of our coverage of the Frozen Four from St. Louis. Start your engines, State College. The Hot Wheels monster trucks are in town this weekend. The theme is Glow and Fire. Fans can come out to enjoy some epic stunts, jumps, and lots of loud trucks. The shows feature monster trucks like Mega Rex, Tiger Shark, Bone Shaker, Bigfoot, and more. The events are tomorrow and Sunday at the Bryce Jordan Center. That's all for sports. Back to you, Francie and Hannah. What are you guys looking forward to this week in Penn State sports?
Well, hockey, I mean, very impressive. And I don't know about you, but I kind of want to see those monster trucks.
Good luck covering the hockey game on Thursday. You're going to have such a fun time.
Thanks. It's going to be a great one.
Thanks, Owen. Coming up next, a very special celebration for our news team here at the Center County Report. A look back in time after the break.
Our Center County Report student newscast is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Sarah Grosh takes a look at CCR over the years.
From the first newscast in 2005 in a small studio at Innovation Park.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Kate Trotman.
And I'm Matt Ford.
To our new state-of-the-art studio.
Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report.
Center County Report student journalists have been reporting on local, state, and national news for 20 years.
CCR is a crown jewel for the journalism program.
The move to the Belisario Media Center was made possible through donations from Hollywood producer Donald P. Belisario.
So CCR was a huge driving force behind the creation of the Media Center.
Whether behind the desk or on the floor, student journalists have had the opportunity to learn in a professional setting. Over the past 2 decades, the Center County Report has covered major news.
Joe Paterno is no longer the head football coach, effective immediately.
Elections.
Where police approached us and told us to evacuate the building immediately.
Weather and sports, and been named the nation's best college newscast 7 times. It's also helped launch the careers of hundreds of students now working in media careers worldwide.
Entire city of Pittsburgh is excited.
This week, alumni have returned to celebrate our 20th anniversary and to look ahead to the next 20. I'm Sarah Grosh for the Center County Report.
This class is so special, and seeing students and people go off in their careers, we're about to be those people, setting the scene for the next phase in our life. So thank you, CCR.
We are so lucky to have such an amazing staff and facility to work in, and those alumni who paved the way.
There is nothing like this class, I will say. That's all for today's newscast, and we hope you'll join us next Friday for another local news update.
But you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X. And you can see our stories on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good weekend.